Alex shared a story when we were thinking about ideas for group pieces. Alex shared this really touching story with us. Well, not touching, but just kind of shocking story about the Tulsa race riot of 1921, and it was basically a young man tripped on an elevator, a young black man tripped on the elevator and grabs a young white woman to stabilize himself, and she screams, and this whole mass of Caucasian people that lived in Tulsa kind of went out on the war path and were trying to lynch him. And, I mean, just later on down the line, it just kind of progressed, and then the mob decided to go and burn the town that the young man was from, which was Greenwood, the successful black town in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow.
And they dropped bombs from airplanes on this town. They basically reduced it to nothing but rubble and smoke, and it was just really striking for us because none of us had ever heard the story before. And then we started thinking about all the different instances in history where things have kind of been, like you learn about the Atlanta race riot, you learn about the LA riot, you learn about Emmett Till and things like that, but there are so many stories that are just kind of kept, they're kind of hush-hush. And even today, in 2012 in Tulsa, there's not a lot of talk about this event that happened in 1921, and the event wasn't even documented until 1996, which is crazy, right? So we just started playing around with that idea. We did a whole bunch of drafts, and we started thinking about like how a lot of history has been cleaned up to keep America looking very clean and nice and neat. So we started playing around with that metaphor and that idea, and we got to this rinse, wash, repeat emblem, which we kind of continued to play with, and then it gave us our piece. And this is, we actually just finished workshopping and editing, and this is our final draft of our group piece, our first group piece.
So here it is by the Atlanta WordWorks team, Rinse, Wash, Repeat.
All right, we do now. Historian has become a euphemism for janitor.
We have made it our full-time job to sterilize this country's deception.
So with soap in hand, we are ready to wash the next forgotten tragedy from history.
Rinse, wash, repeat.
You probably wouldn't know what to do if we told you about some of the stains we've scrubbed away.
There ain't nothing dirtier than a revolution in secrecy.
The way hushed voices creep on countertops like crumbs that won't budge. Men, darker than soot, looking like last night's nightmares, walk the streets with their heads held higher than God. Footsteps sounding like 1 million dogs growling in the backs of their throats, hoping they'd conquer something.
But Negroes ain't clean enough for freedom.
And too black for ballot boxes, so bullets flew as fast as rumors, and they fled with their tails between their legs, looking too close like roaches on floorboards when we forgotten to sleep. And Colfax, Louisiana became a stomping ground. Hell, we had a revolution of our own.
Fucking emancipation, there was still slavery to be had.
It was 1873 before our hands knew anything close to clean. In Colfax, we rinsed our revolutions with bleach, washed black blood from our porch steps, and repeated the process until there was no evidence left to stain our smiles.
Pay no mind to the brooms in our teeth. We've often had to sweep up our speech,
wash the clothes,
scrub the floors,
and clean up after America when it's finished taking out all the trash.
rinse, wash, repeat.
In 1906, Atlanta came crumbling. 10,000 self-proclaimed revolutionaries stomping on downtown streets in innocent black skulls,
Newspapers published tall tales of black men raping white women.
leaving bitter taste on tongues dark as the ink on the papers. Atlanta was but a piece of parchment. Pulled too thin by amplified tensions, the only sounds heard were the labored screams of a society ripped apart.
We were merely particles of dust,
sprinkled over this supposedly clean-cut city.
Our children will not remember the offenses.
and no one will ask why things are the way they are.
When the minds of men are as blank as their skin, they'll accept deception as quickly as we spread it. We'll write riots into history, but wipe them clean from memory.
It's always the same cycle. We keep the studs on the floor, sanitizing certain scenes of our past,
while airing out America's dirty laundry.
rinse, wash, repeat.
I operated elevators.
An elevator in Tulsa was where we first met. I tripped, reached for her, and was trying to catch
I
myself.
screamed and they told me he raped me.
I thought it was a riot, a laughing matter. It was all a blur. They what I wanted to be a
Came out
smile.
as a scream.
I learned too early that truth can be manipulated. The Black Wall Street neighborhood was too much for whites to comprehend. They burned Greenwood black. They thought because our skin was the same color as dirt, it could be cleaned up in the same manner. The 1921 Tulsa race riot would be swept under the rug until 1996. No one will ever know the story of that day.
After a while, history will become myth if not written down.
Word of mouth is not colorblind. If it came from black lips, black ink didn't follow.
How many pages of your history books have become blank slates in the wake of our spring cleaning?
The Colfax Massacre of 1873.
Rinse, wash, repeat.
The Atlanta race riot of 1906.
Rinse, wash, repeat.
The Tulsa race riot of 1921.
Rinse, wash, repeat, repeat, repeat.
Historians have become like janitors.
Mopping up messes.
Rinsing revolutions
And washing away America's history.
Until there's no more dirt for us to clean.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not witnessed slam poetry, which I'm sure on YouTube, you've probably seen adult slams and youth slams, you just heard an amazing, amazing piece by the Atlanta WordWorks team, and this is coming from a person from South Florida, entitled Rinse, Wash, Repeat. And wow, guys, you have Natalie to thank for that one. It's like this.
No. They did that all themselves. They did it all themselves.
Oh,
I
come
was
on.
just there.
Oh, okay, all right, sure, all right. So you guys did it, and that and that was great. That was great. That was great. That was like, Natalie, do you have any words you would like to say after that piece?
I mean, honestly, it really was all them. Like, Alex told me about the Tulsa race riot of 1921, and I didn't know about it, and I think most of us in here are very passionate about history, so it was very alarming to most of us because we've never even heard about that story. So when he told me about it, I was like, why don't I write a group piece about it? And then they did, and then it went through many phases. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like, you know, when you
had a member from the first wave come and help us like really like test it and like push the boundaries of it.
Yeah, and it was really great. At first they had a whole bunch. At first they had just a Tulsa scene in history. Then they had a whole bunch, like too many, and then trying to compare it to modern events. It's been through a process, but I mean that's how all poems are. And then they came up with this great idea about his. As you heard, the first line is historian has become a euphemism for janitor. Like that's what really outlined the entire piece, and it's just brilliant. And they did it all themselves. I really was there to assist and give feedback, but the ideas, the concept, the words, it was all them. So.
Yeah. Do you guys have any shout outs to anybody?
Shout out to New York, DX Borough all day. That's number one. Shout out to Soul. That's my old poetry team back home. Novice poet, Shantae, all of them. Love y'all. Y'all would not be the person I am today. Shout out to my mom and dad. And shout out to Buddha.
All right. How about you, Alexander? You got any shout outs?
I just want to shout out everybody that's ever helped me along the path that I'm going down. I want to shout out, Manny Rivers, Nikki White, Regina McCrae, Natalie Cook, just anybody that supports poetry and the things that we do. And also, I want to go ahead and let y'all know that on July 7th, we're going to have a benefit show here at the Alliance at 7 p.m. So you come check that out and help us. If you're in the city, come through and help us out. And yeah, that's part of what we're trying to do, to raise money so we can go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And for people that live out in Atlanta, around the area, like, please, like, come out and support, like, whether you're a youth or whether you're an adult, like, these are very talented poets, so please, like, help them in any way that you can. Do donations, do just, like, showing up and giving donations, like, please, like, help out. Get this team to Brave New Voices, and, be able, and let them be able to have that experience. Going to you, Teddy, do you have any shout-outs?